It's my pleasure to introduce the person that is responsible for keeping us in line, the one that keeps us in order and makes sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing and protects all the cities in the South Bay. I want to introduce our Executive Director, Jacki Bacharach. Jacki's leadership and experience are critical elements to the success of the South Bay COG initiatives. I'd like Jacki now to join us for giving us the information about the COG. Stage is yours, Jacki.
Thank you. I couldn't let this event go by without giving you some of my reflections on our last 30 years. So I just wanted to say that for those of you that have been looking at me today, you've probably seen me smile. And I'm smiling because I'm really, really proud of all that we've accomplished together. And it isn't just our accomplishments, it's the accomplishments that we have because we have the strength of the collaboration of our cities. It's the city's support that we receive from all of you that allow us to do the things that we do. So it's not just another annual conference for us, it's a celebration, and you're all part of it. It's been a lot of fun over the last couple of weeks to look at the past and see what we've accomplished and really note the things that have directly affected the lives of the people that live in the South Bay. We've seen some of that in the former chair's videos, and I really hope that you enjoyed them, and we want to thank the former chairs that took time to do that. But I wanted to highlight some of the things that I always look back on, and some of you maybe remember this, but for those of you that are newer, I just wanted to mention them because even though they're in the timeline in the lobby, which is very, very extensive, I wanted to just highlight a few things. Our first major collaboration at the COG was when the city of Redondo Beach got a grant for energy efficiency, and they gave the grant to the South Bay COG and said that they wanted it for the entire South Bay. That started us on our sustainability program and the South Bay Environmental Services Center. Our South Bay Environmental Services Center has received numerous awards throughout the years. And they have not been recognized not just for meeting their challenges, they've been recognized for exceeding their challenges. I always think about the fight that we had, and this is going to sound maybe not very important, but it was very important, to retain the 310 area code. For those of you that remember, years and years ago, the California Public Utilities Commission was going to take the west side and give them the 310 area code, and then take the entire South Bay and change our area code to 424. And we said, this is really important. It's going to be very expensive for our cities and our businesses, and it's going to be really bothersome to our residents. So we fought it. We held meetings, and we lobbied, and we did not stop until there was a better solution. And we found that better solution, and we had victory, because the California Public Utilities Commission decided that we would keep our 310 area code, and any new numbers would be 424. This led to a change in policy, because now they don't go to a community and take away something, they add. And it happened here in the South Bay. I think of the fact that many, many years ago, the Air Quality Management District reorganized. And when they did, they had a seat for the west side cities, all of the cities in the western part of LA County. And we shared that seat, with the city of LA on the board of directors. And because that seat was population-based, we could never win, because the city of LA always had more population, and they won. So we said, this isn't fair. And we decided to take that on. South Bay COG. We hired a lobbyist for the very first time, and we worked with our other city colleagues and passed state legislation to give the city of LA its very own seat. And that allowed us to elect Judy Mitchell, who was a former chair and from Rolling Hills Estates, to the Air Quality Management District Board, so that smaller cities had representation from the west side. Today, that seat is held by a Gateway COG member, but it's still a small city seat, and it's because of the work we did here at the South Bay COG. You've heard already about what we did to save the Air Force Base. And years ago, not that long ago, the Air Force Base was threatened with closure. And we joined together with businesses throughout the South Bay and mobilized our governments, and we were able to save the Air Force Base, which was really important for the economy of the South Bay. And it was threatened because it was one of the few bases in the entire United States without a runway. We studied how people get around the South Bay, and I think Wally mentioned that when he talked. And it was an urban experiment with slow-speed vehicles, which gave us very rich data to realize the important role that local use vehicles could play, because our trips are 3 miles or less predominantly for local errands. This led to the local travel network, which you've heard a lot about already, and other initiatives that support zero-emission vehicles. And there is also our continuing advocacy for local control with well-thought-out white papers, which have been authored a lot by our research director, Wally, again. And they were informed by our unique study on the carrying capacity of the infrastructure of the South Bay. I think of our fight, and I mean it was a real fight, with Metro to use our Measure M funds for the South Bay Fiber Network. It had never been done before, but at the South Bay COG, we know that when you prepare for the future, you forge new ground. You look forward, you don't look back. Thanks to Inglewood Mayor Jim Butts, who was also our representative on the Metro Board, we were able to change county policy and on this issue, and now building a fiber network with Measure R funds in Los Angeles County is an eligible expense. That happened here. Thank you. I could go on, but because each year we address the current issues together and bring programs to our cities through our Environmental Services Center, our transportation funding, our homeless services programs, and more. We provide cities with additional resources that they wouldn't otherwise have. And we look forward to the future, which this year includes expanding the fiber network, addressing cool roofs, and reducing homelessness, working with cities on functional zero programs. Besides our city support, none of this could have happened without our very dedicated staff and volunteers. Our volunteers amplify our effectiveness and help us bring our programs to reality. And if you would like to join us, we're always accepting new volunteers. And the staff, well, I'm very, very proud of the staff that we've assembled here, the kind of people who are committed to public service. This includes our great Civic Spark Fellows as well. As you will see from the last panel today, we are a multi-generational staff, and we've created a very dynamic work environment at the COG, with each of us learning from each other every single day. We exemplify the collaboration that we ask of others. While everyone on the staff pitches in to make the annual General Assembly happen, I want to call out Colleen Farrell, because she is in charge of our communications, and she interviewed all the former chairs and put together the videos you saw today. Thank you so much, Colleen. And very special recognition goes to David Legere and Eleanor Murphy, who are responsible for this year with planning and running this entire event. They've done a fantastic job. And for our 30th anniversary, I could not introduce and thank very, very much deep from my heart my sidekick, Kim Fuentes, who has been with us for almost as long as I have. They are the ones that helped to make this an interesting and informative day. I want to close by saying that because of our commitment, we've been able to attract funding from our programs that have extended your dues for over about 8 times what you're spending. We can do all of that. We leverage all of that. We're guided by our purpose, which is for the South Bay COG to add value to our members and help them prepare for the future. And we also are guided by the fact that we get things done. We've met past challenges and we will thrive in taking on new ones, excuse me. And I want to thank you all for joining us in celebrating today. Thank you. Now is the time we're going to reveal our photo contest winner.
Oh, I thought you were going to do that.
Oh, well, I guess we're both going to do it.
Let's do that.
Yes, okay.
Okay. So, in commemoration of the 30th anniversary of the South Bay Cities Council of Governments, we asked people to submit photos showing life in the South Bays in the 1990s. That was a while ago, wasn't it?
Right.
Oh, okay. So, we received some really, really great images. And this year, our winner is Giancarlo Guerrera with City Hall Pizza Show.
I don't think he's here.
So, I don't think is Giancarlo here? Okay, so, wait a minute, you can't say that. I know where that pizza show's at.
He's a Lawndale resident.
He's a Lawndale, so see, he's a Lawndale resident, but he eats pizza in Hawthorne. So if anybody knows where Pizza Show, it's on Hawthorne Boulevard, and it's in the city there. It's on the east side of the street, and I think we used to eat pizza there in the 70s when we were in high school. So, but yeah, the Pizza Show.
Okay, we're going to be featuring the winning photo in our newsletter and announce it to our local press because they helped us publicize this contest. And then next year we put the winning photo in our What is the COG pamphlet so that people can see it throughout the year in the publication that says who we are and our projects and our mission. In addition, you'll find that all of our finalists are on the website and in social media posts. And now, I'll turn it over to you.
Back to me. Okay, thank you.